If you change your income, you don't just change your bank balance, you alter your brain chemistry, your perception of time, and the very value of your human life. This is the exact psychological anatomy of climbing through every single social class. When Marcus lives at the poverty line, his entire psychological bandwidth is eaten by the immediate present. Look closely at his daily routine. Every choice is forced by survival friction. Studies show that the mental strain of poverty temporarily decreases a person's functional IQ by up to 13 points. That is the cognitive equivalent of losing an entire night of sleep every single day. While the wealthy buy time to save energy, Marcus must spend massive energy to save pennies. He walks 2 miles to a cheaper grocery store because bus fare leaks cash. When he moves slightly up into the traditional working class, the immediate panic subsides, replaced by a grueling, mechanical stability. He is no longer drowning, but his head is bare, inches above the water. Here the personified villain is the unexpected bill. A flat tire, a chipped tooth, or an unexpected medical expense isn't an inconvenience. It's a financial executioner that can instantly reset months of hard-earned progress. Time is measured strictly by the bi-weekly paycheck cycle. The horizon is short. Planning for 5 years from now is a luxury when you are fundamentally trying to survive the next 14 days. But then, the breakthrough happens. Marcus breaks into the middle class. Suddenly, the language changes. He stops talking about survival and starts talking about lifestyle. He buys the suburban house, the reliable sedan, the brand-name groceries without checking the receipt. For the first time, his basic physical needs are completely secured. But a new, invisible antagonist takes the stage: the status trap. In the working class, your struggle is hidden behind closed doors. In the middle class, your wealth is put on a public stage. Marcus is now caught on a premium treadmill. He earns 3 times more than before, but his structural costs have ballooned to match. He owns a nicer house, but he doesn't actually own it. The bank does. He drives a polished car, but it's tied to a 4-year debt obligation. He has transitioned from trading his physical labor for immediate food to trading his long-term freedom for current respectability. The psychological friction shifts from physical panic to deep, exhausting burnout. He works 45 hours a week to fund a life he only has time to enjoy on weekends. He is completely comfortable, yet entirely trapped. To cross the next barrier, Marcus has to break the fundamental rule of the working and middle classes. He must stop trading his hours for dollars. He enters the upper class. Here, the entire fabric of reality flips upside down. Money detaches from labor and attaches completely to leverage. Marcus no longer works for a company. His assets work for him. Here, the entire fabric of reality flips upside down. While a middle-class worker saves what is left after spending, the upper class spends what is left after investing. Marcus watches his net worth grow not through individual promotions, but through the silent, exponential compounding of equity, global real estate, and scalable systems. At this tier, time becomes the ultimate commodity. Marcus pays thousands of dollars to private agencies, accountants, and assistants for one specific reason: to buy back his minutes. The systemized villain here is no longer a bill or a car payment. It is asset degradation and market volatility. But the true shift is psychological. Marcus stops viewing the world through the lens of cost and begins viewing it strictly through the lens of return on investment. His social circle contracts into a highly exclusive network where relationships themselves are treated as strategic capital. Systemic power. He can buy any physical object on Earth in seconds, meaning material items completely lose their psychological dopamine hit.